obviously I'm not Keith Kretzmeyer. He has to work tonight, and he felt terrible because he had his lesson ready, and he was excited about being able to share that with you. So we got him for the next time. We can slot him back in, but there are other people that are lined up. Don't show that picture yet. That are lined up to speak, so I don't know when that might be. So you're stuck with me again, but here we are. There's a lot of things to do when you do vacations in the United States, and one of the things that I enjoy is going around to old sites and historical points. And this last year, got to go through some mission points in San Antonio. One of them was the Alamo itself. Heard about that. But that was just one old mission point among several others along a river area in the San Antonio region. So we went out in vehicle, kind of checking different ones out and just going in and exploring and taking pictures and all. And everyone has their uniqueness about them. A lot of them still that old stone-looking thing that looks more like an old Spanish fort, and that's what they were for part of that time. And then going into one building and walking through this old ancient building, we found different artifacts in every little windowsill, but there was one that really caught my attention, and I took the picture of that. Now flash it up if you would, please. As you're enjoying your vacation and you see this, and if you can't read the writing, it says, remember that you are dust, and to dust you return. There's a picture of an urn there, and inside the urn there's some ashes. And I don't know that that's human ashes, but it still grabs your attention just the same. A little rope sag hanging down the window. And I thought, wow, how would you feel if you walked in a church building and there was something like that in the window where you worship? And it would certainly at least get your attention from time to time until, I guess, after a period of time, it just gets to be what you normally see all the time. But an interesting comment that goes way back even further than Alamo's existence. But the words come from Genesis chapter 3, right after man had sinned. Before Adam and Eve had fallen into sin, they had a garden that they lived in. There were trees that they could eat all kinds of things of. Only one tree that they were forbidden to eat, and as you well know, if you've read the story or heard it, of course, they ate that one too, along with other things. And because of that, because God promised them that if they ate from that tree that they would die, they did. In that process, as God is pronouncing a curse upon them and upon Satan, he says in Genesis 3 and verse 17, latter part of verse 17, "Cursed is the ground for your sake. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you. And you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of your face you shall eat bread." Doesn't sound as tasty then. "Till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return." That curse is passed on to us. It's a very sober reminder that we're not going to live here forever. That one day, all that we have will fit inside one of those little glass urns. We will crumple down to nothing but ashes. And all the things that we strive to do will pass on to somebody else. All the things that we gained, if there are any, will go to somebody else. And we'll be wrapped up in that little cozy urn, or tomb, or wherever. And so because of that, Jesus tells 3 parables in Matthew 25 at the end of his time on this earth, just before his crucifixion. Hold the picture there and consider what Jesus is talking about, because he's very well aware of our lack of life in this earth. Verse 31 in Matthew 25, when the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate them one from another, as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats. And he will set the sheep on his right hand and the goats on the left. Then the king will say to those on his right hand, come, you who are blessed of the Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. For I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. For I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer and say to him, but Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you to drink? And when did we see you a stranger and take you in, or naked and clothe you? Or when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you? And the king will answer and say to them, assuredly I say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these my brethren, you did it to me. And then he will also say to those on the left hand, depart from me, you cursed, into the everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you did not take me in. Naked, and you did not clothe me, and sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. And then they will answer him, saying, but Lord, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister to you? And then he will say to them, assuredly I say to you, inasmuch as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. And these will go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. We're given a mission, and the mission's not that complicated. Taking care of one another, physically and spiritually especially. And being mindful that all of us will have an urn one day. And that's about the only thing we EARN earn in life. Keep your focus on the Lord. Keep your attention to Him. Serve Him well. Rather sober devotional. A lot of times they're light and encouraging and uplifting. I thought maybe it's just time to look at something from a little different angle. Very much in the Scriptures. To remind us of our lack of lifetime in this life. We're not immortal. So as you look at your life, and you find yourself not in a good relationship with the Lord, not a Christian, or not living like one, life's short. Make your life right with God. We sing a song to encourage you if you need to respond, or if you just need prayers. We all need support and encouragement. We're here to help. We're glad you're here. Live life with the Lord. It's worth it. All the way to and through the end. But if you need to respond, come while we stand and sing.